All right. Okay. Good morning. We are up to Simon Memtes. The Treifos of the Korkovan. HaKorkovan yeshlo shtei oros. The Korkovan has two membrane, two pieces, or whatever. Nikav zebelo zek sheira achi nakru shteim. One is, if you pierce one, not the other one, it's okay. Achi nakru shteim zek neged zeh. Nikvu zeh shlok neged zeh sheira. So I want to bring some examples today. We had some topics on Korkovan on Shabbos. So I want to show a few things. So this is Korkovan. That's half of it. You think it's whatever. Now, the Lamaisa is that there is a krum over here which the krum over here which it sort of does peel off. You see, it's a bit different. So that's one krum, and this is another krum. It peels off, and this is here.
I thought we heard yesterday there's a machine that peels it off.
No, this is no. Okay, fine. So this is the Piskei Tshuva discusses that there's a third thing which machine peels. Well, in America it peels everything off. Here it only peels some of it off. There's a yellow inside. There's a yellow. You'll buy them here in Eretz Yisrael. There's another yellow like film inside, and there's also goch left over from whatever the bird ate, the chicken ate, and that I guess before you prepare it, you peel that off. So that already the Piskei Tshuva discusses, and there's a bit of a machlokes about whether that's nikiv, that's from the inside, whether that's nikiv, whether we treif it up or not. If you look in the Piskei Tshuva, it's a machlokes. The Samar Matir Shtei Alechem brings Matirim, it brings Machmirim. The Chassam Sofer says that it's better, it's a chumrah, but and the Rav should be mako, but for a person can be macher for himself. So therefore, here with the machat, so if it pierces one, so then that's okay. Pierces the second one from the inside, that's okay. But if it goes through both, that's going to be a problem. Nikiv v'shuran sha'alav. If it's another few things after, but let's see. Nikiv v'shuran sha'alav seis my kosher. And sometimes also when you get it, there's extra shuman on it. There's extra. There's fat, and we said before that the fat of a chicken is seisem, so therefore then it would be kosher. Hagava kosher, even though nikvu kosher ha'oros, if both aren't pierced, afal bishal nisha rak ma'atme or achitzayin shel nikiv shekosher. Right, even if as long as it's not doesn't pierce all the way through, that there's let's say it goes like that's not going to work here. Let's say it's pierced here, but it doesn't come through over here. It does come through, but let's say it doesn't come through. As long as they go, the Ramah says, as long as they go through the whole thing, then it's fine. It is kosher. Gimel, im nimtza machat tochel v'vifnim, dino k'dim machat shenimtza b'mases uveis hakoisis, the beit hakosot, whatever. That if there's a machat here, you can see that if there's a machat which is stuck inside, you see there's a head over here, I stuck it in. So then, if it's embedded from the inside, so therefore it's the same din as by the other stomach, the stomach of the cow, and it sort of depends if if yesh lahachmer the hagavi the over there the Ramaz machmer by the Ramasa, so be machmer over here. If it's the question is, you check if there's a kurat dam on the outside, and everything we discussed in Memches. Hagali hamachat nimsa ba'ovi habasar lo nikar b'bifnim lo mi b'chutz ayin le'el. So Memches, that was the end of Memches. If it's completely embedded in the basar, you don't really see it b'chlal. then that is then that's that we had that din before. That depends on how much is left on either side, and therefore that would be okay. זה שהכשרנו ניקיב אור חיצון לבדוי, דווקא בניקיב מעצמם אחוז חולי. But we're talking about nikiv. We're not talking about really. So the Shulchan Aruch said I really did the wrong thing over here. Really, we're talking about it was nikiv machmas choli, the machmas kots or mach treifa. The chashidim sheba nikiv echad me'evarim pnimi. If it comes in from the outside, right? You have it. It comes in from the outside. You see it sticking in like this. So then you have to be choshesh that it traveled through the. It got stuck into the chicken and then traveled through the inside. And it pierced 20 other internal organs, and then it got stuck into the korkoban. Like the top, like the zevek and the different the veshet. If you can't tell if the whole which one it was, told in the hakel. They were told in the hakel. On that we had before. We had the shach says that there's that we have before we had the sfix feka. The Taz over here. The Taz says over here the sfix feka. What's the sfix feka? That Shema. The sfix feka is about here. The shach says. Maybe it's nikiv v'yedei. Let's say it was a machad. Codes shema lo nikiv echa mevarim pnimin. Maybe nothing happened. The Taz jumps up and says, "Wait a second, that doesn't work because it's a fake sveka shelo yachol yisapek." This is the sheet of Taz throughout Yoreh. Any fake sveka needs to be able to be flipped over. So therefore, you can't flip. You can't say the other that Shema. You can't say. Well, let's say it pierced the Ivarim Pnimi. Maybe it didn't. You can't say that because if it did, then it's treif. So it doesn't work. So the Taz says Taz is cholik over here, and he says that doesn't work. The ma'asav it's a machlokes, and shach and Taz. Generally, you're passing like the shach, but makom deraisa. Machmer like there's no hefset involved in machmer like the Taz. On this, there's a very interesting Aruch Shulchan which says something very lemaisa. That a person is a person's like I said has pupiks in the soup, whatever. He's chewing his pupik and he chomps on a needle. Inside the stuck inside the meat, he pulls it out. Gets cut. What's this? Pulls out a needle or a coat or even a piece of one. So Aruch Shulchan says you have to be choishesh and spit the korban out because it's treif. And if it came, nowadays you know which chicken it came from. Even I don't know if it's still doing. When I was a kid, I don't know if they still do it. They do it. Chickens in America. They used to, package in a little bag with liver and a couple of pupiks. Now, I don't think the pupiks were from the korban was from the actual chicken because there's two, and unless if it's two korban's, then the chicken's treif. But so therefore we don't know which one. That korban, that pupik is treif. Therefore, if you're chewing it and you find some machad inside, unless you could be toilet it on. We'll see later in the next siman. Told it on something else, you're gonna have a problem. Shishim, the shishim, and obviously, yeah, it has to be the shishim. Yeah, it's treif, and you have to be as long as there's shishim in the pot. Generally, if the soup, there should be shishim. Spelt over, yeah, even by chazer, right, whatever. Hey, if you see there's worms popping out of the korban, shchita parish, we're not choshish that it was menakev the korban because after shchita it comes out. Siminun kol elu nekavim yesh b'malitlois. If all these nekavim I mentioned before, if there's what to be.
The line is because it's an
No, because Talon can pierce the question if they're menake, if they can are you kosher for lakusa for like it's a disease, so therefore it could be that's like there's a nekev. So we said that we just say that the Taylor happened after. Kol elu nekavim yesh b'malitlois kimo b'tabach or b'zev. Any of these holes, if we could say that it came from something else, that for example the tabach, he was pulling it out and he stuck his fingernail in or things like that, or there was a zev or a dog. I mean, either one that bite. There's a dog sitting next to, and turned around and he pulled out the aver, and then you got it away from him, and now there's holes. So not lan toilim behem. You toilet that big. You toilet in that because of the fact that once the animal has a cheskas iser, right? Before you shecht it. Once you shecht it, if there's a suffix in the shechita, still has a cheskas iser. Once a person shechts it properly, then now has a cheskas heter. Now you want to go ahead and you want to treif it up and say, well, no, it's a treifa. So already then needs to be. So it needs to be. If there's a reyes, so there's a reyes. You can't just don't have to assume it's treif. But if there's a reyes, so that that there's a hole, then you got to check, and then you have a suffix deraisa, suffix yisser. However, since there's a cheskas heter, if you can be tola it on something else, and this is a call for Yoreh Deah, if there's a cheskas heter, and if you can be tola it on something, some other, happenstance, then you tola. If you ain't davar litlois boy, if you have nothing else, the suffix yinikiv michayim, and maybe it was nifkav michayim lavi. Maybe it was there was a hole from when it was alive that would chafe it up. So the Gemara says you go ahead and pierce the neck next to it, and then you check it out. I feel in daimim, even if they're not daimim, mishma should be a daim and neck of a suffix. If you rub it in that neck of a suffix, you mashpir agam a neck of shoisin dveisav boy. And then you rub them both in domim la'acher mishmush kshera. Because again, one's older, one's not. But if you make them the same, you rub them both, and then they look exactly the same. Kshera ve'medamin ela the keres uvedakin. We only do this test. The Gemara says you only do this test by the keres of vedakin v'lo b'leiv v'tachol korkoban, only by the stomachs and digestive system, not by the leiv v'tachol korkoban. Those we don't do this test. Now, the Rambam always says, and we're not beking in all the bdikas from the Gemara. We don't know, we're not bucky in them, so therefore we'll just be suffix. We'll treif it up. Any place we can't be told that happened after shchita. Afal pishu Treifos. Shleish lebedika. Even though it's a treifa, which we do, there are bedikos the court Shulchan, we do a few of them. We do. Imlo badku, if you didn't check it, let's say it's not shaykh, it's gone, or it was salted, whatever it is. Arehu kisavik treifa va'oisim, and it's also v'lo amina nishchata hutra. We don't say, well, it was neshchat, so it's hutar. El b'davar shenucha lomar shenasa hereisa. You can't fool yourself, right? That if it's something which is possible to have happened afterwards, then you could be Torah on it. Well, the cheskas heter, and it's okay. No, you have to only something which is a possibility that happened after. Then that's going to be also. Shach brings the Maramim Ublin, who's cholik on this Ramah, and then says, what do you mean? It has a cheskas heter, that's good enough. Once you have a suffix, you go to cheskas heter. Why should you answer it? And the shach in the end is, he says you can be samich on the Maramim Ublin, have some meruba, but otherwise we should follow the Ramah, follow the psak, the psak of the Ramah. To be machmer, he's a bit marich here, and then chazakos, and it's a nice shach. But al kolpanim, that's it has to be something which is reglain the davar. He says if there's reglain the davar, that like the Ramah, reglain the davar that it happened after, so then you can be somich, but otherwise on the chesed heter. Otherwise, if you see a race, so then you have to be choshish for it. Well, that's right. So I mean, that's not reglain the davar. That's what you Mill explained. It's Yedeah. No, reglain the davar is not Yedeah. Yedeah is umdana. Umdana is not reglaim davar. Is it makes sense. It's based on it's based on I think in the Rashba. It's based on the Rashba Shita in the beginning of Seches Nida. He talks over there. There's different cases over there. Whether it's Omin on Chazaka, the Mikvah, Nida, different things. Whatever. It's a difficult sugya. It's a deep sugya over there. But the Rashba says if there's a reply in the davar, something happened, then you have to be more cautious for it. I'm not explaining it well, but Ayin Sham is not a little bit too beyond here. But again, you could be a mine in the Shach, and the different Acharim over here. Sif Beis, Kol Ever Sharmarnu, She'im Niki V'Mashu Treifa, any Ever that we said it's Niki V'Mashu is Treif, Kach Nito Kulo Treifa. So too, if it's gone, it's Treif, like the Veshet, or the stomach or the heart, anything like that, it's treif. Bein shenita b'choli, whether it you happen, you open it up, it's gone. It was from the illness, or biyad, or is removed biyad. Bein shenivra b'chayim, right? So I guess someone came in, well, not the heart, but removed part of the or animal or something, removed part of the stomach, or whatever. Bein shenivra chaser. Let's say it was born chaser. V'chayim nivra. It's like it was born missing a piece of the heart, whatever. Bein nivra b'shnei varim miyoso aver, or it has two. We had all the dinim before, but it has two avarim from that aver. Treifa shekol hayeser kinito choshev. Because then, if you have two internal organs, then I know they say two heads are better than one, but it's two heads aren't going to function the same way. Meaning, if you have two internal organs, the body can't function with two internal the same organ. And then we say, for example, one of the main examples later on is if it has an extra limb, has an extra leg. The animal's not going to be able to walk with an extra leg. It's just not. So it's ki'ilu. It's not going to be able to function. So it's ki'ilu. It's gone. Chutz mitchol shenito kosher v'nikiv v'samcha treifa. Unlike the tchol that we said before, that if it's nikiv. That's only nikiv. It's then if it's nital, it's kosher. If it's gone, it's kosher. But if it's nikiv, then trace the animal up. Im nivra chaser treifa. Any of these things we say that if it's nivra chaser treifa, kolshkin im nital biyad. Like kolshkin if it's taken away. V'chosher manu bo im nital treifa. Who are the nivra chaser? And any of these things we say if it was taken away. So too, if it was born that way, it's chaser, it's treif. Yesh machshirim b'zeh. Why does he repeat this? Why does the Mechaber repeat this? Because there are those who are machshir, in that if it's in this case that if it's nivra chaser, it could be, and you see the animals alive, then it's not treif. And the Ramah says that Hesed Rubik is somich on the Machshirin, who's the Rambam. Right in the first sheet is the Rashba, and then the Rambam holds they're not Shaveh, the Rashba holds they're Shaveh, and the Ramah says you can be somich Hesed Meruba on the Rambam. Gimel, kol aver shenivaso or chesrono netilaso poisel. Any aver that nikiva or chisara or whatever poisel in this master is possible if it's decaying or then it's also possible. We don't know what decay means. So anything we had by the reyes, anything which is changes color, black, green, whatever. Then we're choshish for a reyes, and it's near covenant. It's really going to turn into a hole, and havi kenikim sham, and then it's treif. Aleph, koitz If you have a thorn or a needle which goes into the chalal behema, ha'of, or the chicken, or the chicken, like they had the shiloh about the Chol Illuminated brings down the shiloh. I think we mentioned it here, but they put a syringe into the let's say they inject something into the animal, or they try to relieve the gas in the stomach, things like that. So anything which is nikiv l'chal behema of chashin shema nikiv echame hamakovish dekuvasa memashehu. Maybe it pierced one of the internal organs, the Treifos. Aruch Shulchan talks about. Let's say your veterinarian's trying to go ahead and he's giving the animal an injection. All right, so it said should we be choshish that the animal is not a Treifos because maybe he injected it and it pierced the stomach wall or things like that. He said that listen, obviously, if it's some sort of X-ray, then you're doing fine. If you
Had all controversy about this in America. They inject the chicks in the neck when they're little. Some vaccine.
Right, that would pierce the veshet. Child did pierce the veshet. Aruch Shulchan does say if the doctor knows what he's doing and he can be trusted and he's experienced, then you could be samich on it. So yeah, great shilos. Lefichach kol iver shanidu behem in nikiv mitzad echad kosher. Anything which we say that if it only didn't pierce all the way through, kosher kalev, other besakosis, or the wall, the wall, the besakosis, with a korkoban. Nikiv mitzad chutz. If the nekiv is from the outside, dafka. That's only if you see with nikiv from there's an illness. Machmas machat or codes because then we're choshish that it went all the way through. Hagavim who's suffik imnasir licholi or codes machat kosher. We had this fixed before in the last simin, and therefore it's a suffik. It's kosher. I listen test. Kosher can sheish to hakshir ki agavna b'nikiv haor v'abasa ad halal. So too. If we're koshish that there's nikiv for orva basar until the into the halal, then that's okay. If you see the coats is there, right? V'nishchata behema. See, there's a coat, and it was shachted. V'nimtza coats tachav lefanenu. Midofna behema leechad yivram. You see that there's some sort of a thorn, whatever, knife, whatever it is, stuck in through the outside of the animal. Then we can be well enough to say, well, maybe it went ahead and stuck into everywhere else. You see, this is where it gets stuck. If you can puggle believe, we see it didn't pierce the whole thing. Shera, finish with this. Piskei Tshuva discusses the case of what if it was stabbed, but then by a huge thorn, by a tree or something. Or whatever, and then the animal walked away. So is it doma to we know that we know where the coats was. We saw that it got went in. So can you be and then and we know it just went into the leg or went into the thing. We know where it went to. Can we be samich on that? Is the same din as here? Or we say no, maybe we don't know, and maybe hit other things. And on that, the Pesach Tshuva says tzarachiyun ladina. And we'd have obviously depends on the situation. Stay there.